Hello stamping friends, welcome back to video number 2. This is for card number 2 of the January 2015 card kit. I am happy to show you how to make this card, and in the PDF instructions that you get when you're doing the online class, it will give you an alternative if you don't have the embossing powder and everything that I'm going to be using for this video. So don't worry, there's still a way to fix it. Okay, in your card kit, you get an envelope, just like on all the other ones. Then you get a piece of Melon Mambo, a piece of basic black. You get your ribbon, and I went ahead and cut the ribbon for this video just so that you'll know what comes in the card kits. And then you get your Whisper White card base, all right? Now, see how my card doesn't want to like lay down flat? I highly recommend that you use a bone folder, and Stampin' Up! Sells them, just to give that a good crease, and then that way it'll lay down flatter. The Melon Mambo has been run through the embossing folder, and the one that I used was Lovely Lace. Whenever you're going to attach the embossed cardstock to a smooth surface or emboss to emboss, I love to use the liquid Tombow glue, the multi-purpose glue. You just put a little bit on there, and the glue gets down in those crevices. By the way, I like to keep my glue in a container so that it is ready to go when I am. All right, so we're going to attach this like that. A little bit hard to see, black on black. And then you're going to take your ribbon, and we're going to tie that. Now, sometimes when you're tying the ribbon, if you're struggling with it, I like to just go ahead and put a little bit of snail on there, and then take my ribbon, fold it in half, kind of get the middle, and then just stick it on there. Okay, so then it stays in place for you so that you're not struggling trying to keep it from moving around. Okay, so let's just tie a bow. You should have plenty of ribbon to tie a bow. And then I don't want you to struggle with, oh, in the picture, the bow is off to one side and I didn't tie it that way. I'm going to show you something like I love to do. Just going to lift that off a little bit, and then I can move the bow where I want it. Yeah, right. No, it does work, I promise. I just can't get my fingers on there. It's kind of slippery, so let's just do it this way. There we go. So if you want the bow off to the side, like what's in my picture, it's easy to do. I'm going to make this bow just a tad smaller. There we go. Now I can just cut off the tails, and there's my bow. Okay, so then we're going to attach this to our card base. And I like to put a little bit of snail on that ribbon just so that it won't lift up on the edges. Center that on there. Okay. And then I have already cut out the word "you" using the framelit. I gave you some instructions on the first video how I like to use the stapler. But this time, I'm going to use the silicone mat that Stampin' Up! Sells, and I'm going to put a little bit of Tombow on there. And if you use the silicone mat, then guess what? Your surface, your work surface, is not sticky. Love it. Okay, so put that top on. All right. And then we're going to put this right here. And if there's some Tombow on the front, as you tap it, just kind of blot that, and then it'll dry clear. Don't worry about it. Okay, so our card is almost done. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do some embossing. love embossing. I just think it makes a card look very elegant. And let's put this right up here. I cut a strip about a 1/2 inch wide from my scrap of paper. By the way, I forgot to tell you, in the card kits, you get a sheet of, now this is your framelits that you know you're using, you get a 1/2 sheet of black and a 1/2 sheet of white to do all of your cutting out with. So you'll have a little piece, just cut it off the bottom, and like I said, about a 1/2 inch. And then I like to use the Embossing Buddy. It's just it's full of powder, and it helps, and I'm just dabbing that on there. It helps keep the embossing powder from sticking where you don't want it. Okay, so now I need my stamp that I set over on the other table. Okay, so I've put the word love, and I'm going to use the white craft ink. And then I'm just going to stamp. And I know you can't see it because of all the powder. Don't worry, you'll see it in just a minute. It'll appear. Okay. By cutting the strip, it was just easier than trying to hold on to those little pieces. And when you're looking at the PDF, you'll understand what I mean. So I'm just going to pour some powder on there. Tap that off. Now, see how it still looks powdery? Don't brush anything yet. We're going to use the heat gun and heat that up. You might want to hold on to that small piece of paper if it gets away from you. Okay, so can you see the powder that's still there? And that's from the Embossing Buddy. Do you know what this is? It's supposed to be used to clean your house. Well, it helps get the dust off of your cardstock really nicely. Also, your craft table, you know, where the Embossing Buddy sits, it just tidies up really nicely. All right, so rather than trying to take this to the paper trimmer, I just found the words are really tiny and you're going to be snipping really close. So just take your snips and cut them apart. A lot less stressful, I promise. And again, if you don't have the heat tool and the embossing powder, I give you instructions in the, I give you an alternative, in the instructions. So don't worry about it. Your card is still going to be cute. So now I want to take and put some liquid Tombow on again, because I am attaching the words love to my embossed piece of cardstock. There you go, because I just love, love, love you. Thanks for stopping by, and come back for video number 3.